Good evening and welcome to Universal5.com Secret Testing Laboratory, also known as my garage. Tonight we're going to look at a product from HermTheOverdriveGuy.com, and we're going to be looking at Axle Kit number 4. This kit is a full floater conversion kit for the standard Dana 44 used in Universal Jeeps from about 1952 up to around 1970. So it's for converting the stock Dana 44 with a tapered axle and a one-piece hub that's bolted to the axle with a large nut. So what this kit does is it replaces those tapered axles with a set of conversion axles, one long and one short, and uses the full floating hubs from the front end of a Dana 24, or excuse me, a Dana 27 or a Dana 30 to convert the axle to a full floater, thereby increasing the strength and reducing the possibility of problems out on the trail. So let's go ahead and take a look at the kit contents. We're going to start with the axles. And as you can see here, the kit comes with two tapered axles. One end, as you'll see at this end, are 19 splines where they enter the differential, and we have 27 splines at the other end, and then we see the bearing surfaces for the bearings to ride in at the outer end of the axle. The kit contains a set of 4 new races. You'll see those races here, and bearings. These are high quality, high grade bearings that Herm sources from overseas. We have 2 axle seals. We have a set of wheel bearing seals. We have a what you'll typically see in the front end of a Dana 27 or 25 or a Dana 30 axle kit. These are used to secure the locking or to secure the hubs to the outer ends of the axles. We have a set of conversion spindles. These spindles have been adapted, and I'll show you a stock spindle in just a minute. These are adapted to, they're normally used on the front end of a Dana 25 or a 27 or a Dana 30, and these axles have been machined to work with the standard axle in the back on the Dana 44. And this is accomplished, for the most part, by machining off the outer diameter of the back flange to allow it to fit within the to bolt flush to the back of the Dana 44 housing. And let me bring in what you would normally see. So here's the standard front hub, unmodified, for comparison. So you can see that there's quite a big difference in the amount of material that's been removed. You can tell that where my finger's pointed here. And then in addition to that, what might not be readily apparent to you is that the inside of the bearing through which the axle slides has been bored out as well to accept the larger size of the rear axle, as opposed to what you might find the smaller diameter on the stock axle. So that's one portion of the conversion. Now the next piece is the standard front hub from a Dana 25 or 27. You'll see this here. This happens to be a reconditioned unit that Herm supplies. He will, at your option, supply either new imported units, or he will recommission or recondition domestic units to as good condition. So as you can see here, what Herm has done is he's run this through a parts washer. The unit has been sandblasted. We have new wheel studs installed on it, and it's clean and ready to go. This unit has probably been in service for anywhere from 30 to 40 years, and you can see once Herm is done with it, it's good as new and ready to accept new races, wheel bearings, and provide another 30 to 40 years of service. Alright, now when we get to the outer ends of the axle, you have a couple different options. The first is a drive flange. These drive flanges that I'm going to show you today are what you would normally come from the factory stock on a Jeep. These happen to be 10 spline conversion or drive flanges used on the front axle of a standard Dana 25 or 27, and they just happen to be my trail spares. For this kit, Herm would supply a similar unit with a matching 27 spline inner pattern to fit the conversion axle. One other option that you might have is to go ahead and get yourself a set of new or used locking hubs. What you see here today, the one I'm holding up, is a worn unit that I picked up off of eBay. This is your standard worn hub. It's mostly a two-piece unit as opposed to some of the other more complex ones like the Lock-O-Matics and so forth. And the normal application for this would be a Dana 30 axle used on Jeeps. Alright, so this is the first in the series. What we're going to be doing in the next video is you'll see the disassembly of the Dana 44. And then we'll be moving in to complete the installation with, so we're going to recondition the used axle that I picked up, and we're going to remove the open carrier and replace it with the power lock unit that you see here, which was reconditioned by Herm. And we're also going to add a salvage unit ring and pinion in 427. So I hope you've enjoyed your tour of the contents of Axle Kit number 4. I can wholeheartedly recommend Herm as a vendor. He's been very good and works with all of his customers to make sure that everyone's satisfied. So stay tuned and look for our next video where we just begin the disassembly of the spare Dana tapered axle Dana 44 and begin converting it to the full floater for eventual installation into my 1964 Jeep CJ5. Thanks for watching and have a good evening.